Today, I'm going to share with you everything you need to know about the new salvage yard business and how you can make millions of dollars with it. So the first thing to do is get a salvage yard business. Now there's 5 different locations, 2 of which are at the top of the map, one being in Paleto Bay, the other one being around the Blaine County area, and then the other 3 are in the city. Now, while the ones up north are cheaper, the ones in the city are by far the better locations to get. Now, we'll get into why in a little bit, but the top 3 locations in order, in my opinion, is Strawberry as number 1. It's very central, right next to the highway. Number 2 is Marietta Heights, which is the one that I personally got. And then number 3 is La Puerta. Now, all 3 of these locations by themselves will be about $2.5 million, but there are quite a few different customizations you could get for the business that will make it more expensive. So the first one is getting trade rates, which discounts how much you have to pay to Los Santos Customs when you're repairing a vehicle, or how much you have to pay Moore's Mutual Insurance when you're getting a vehicle back. The next add-on is the tow truck, and this is actually the way to make passive money with the business. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You could either go for the new tow truck or the tow truck beater. From what I understand, it's simply cosmetic, so it doesn't matter which one you get, but it will be used for making money. Next is the wall safe, which is where your passive money will be stored, so I'd get it. And the final one is hiring an extra staff member that will speed up the process of salvaging parts with the business. Now, if you get all of these upgrades, it will cost anywhere between like the 4 point something million all the way up to about 5.5, which is what I spent on my salvage yard. But with that out of the way, we can now talk about the 2 ways to make money with the business. The first one is with the tow truck. So if you have the tow truck, you could then go out and do towing missions, pick up cars, bring them back to the salvage yard. You will have to lose the cops on the way, but they're really straightforward, take a couple minutes to complete. And once the car is at the salvage yard, it will then take, if you have 1 staff member, 48 minutes for the car to be fully salvaged, and the money made from salvaging those parts will be put into your wall safe. Now, for me, I've done 1 salvage so far, and it generated me $7,500. Up to 2 cars can be salvaged at a time, meaning you can make a few $1,000s per hour. So that's the first way to make money. It's a little bit of money, not too bad, but the best way to make money with the business is through the new car heists. Now, in order to access them, you have to head over to the computer on the main floor of the salvage yard. At it, you'll see an option between 3 different cars that you can start a heist for. They range in value and rarity, so I'd always go for the most expensive car there. Now, once you decide what car you're going to go for, it will then give you 1 of 5 different robberies. Now, these robberies are a little bit more complex than the auto shop contracts, but not as complex as something like the Cayo Perico heist. Each robbery has 1 mandatory scope out mission, 2 mandatory setups, 1 optional disruption mission, and then 2 to 3 tasks that are highlighted by little green bags around the map. For the mandatory scope out and setup missions, you have to start them up from the scrapyard computer, but for the tasks, they are just located around the map. All you have to do is go up to them, call up Jamal, and you could get them started right on the spot. Each task and setup is relatively straightforward, and so is the finale, and in total, over the 3 that I've done so far, they've taken me anywhere between 40 to about 55 minutes. Now, the payout varies depending on which car you chose, and like I said, because each of these robberies are about the same amount of time, you might as well just go for the most expensive car that is there, because from my experience, the difficulty level of the robbery doesn't change based on the car value. So, once you complete one of these robberies and have done the finale, there is a few different ways we could make money. First off, for completing the finale, there's going to be a list of different challenges you could complete, and if you get all 4, you're going to earn $50,000 bonus right away, which is great. There's also a $50,000 first-time bonus for each of these robberies, which is great as well. Now, as for the actual car we are stealing, the finale mission is just bringing the car back to the scrapyard. From there, we have 3 choices. We could either sell it to the docks, which is essentially selling it right to Yusuf for the most amount of money. The second option is to sell multiple cars. I believe you could have up to 4 cars total at one time in the salvage yard, so if you have 3 other associates, you could do 1 big sell mission. And the final option is to salvage its parts for a lower price, a considerably lower price than what you could sell it right to the docks for. Now, I initially thought that salvaging it would be an instant money into your bank, but it's actually not the case. Your workers essentially break it down like it would be with the tow truck salvaging, and it takes quite some time. So you're gonna get that money, you don't have to do any extra work, but it's only gonna come to you after like hours of waiting. So the best way or the easiest way to get your money with this. You get it instantly, you get the most amount of money, it's just to sell it right to the docks or bring it down to the shipyard. The only downside of selling to the docks is that if you damage the car on the way, you will lose some money from the final sale, but really, the mission is really straightforward. You don't have crazy NPCs chasing you. You could easily get there with no damage. So with all that being said, what do the payouts look like? Well, on the low end, you're going to make about $200,000 to $300,000 for about, like I said, 40 to maybe 50 minutes of work. On the high end, you're going to make $400,000 to $500,000 for the same amount of time. And all those payouts are before the $20,000 setup fee that you have to pay before doing each heist. Now, while that is great money, there is one unfortunate catch for the business, and that is you could only do these robberies once per in real life week. Now, initially, I thought they were only going to have a few hours cooldown, like the Cayo Perico heist or the auto shop contracts, but no, you could only do them once per week. So they're very similar to the time trials. So essentially what that means is that each week we're going to be able to earn roughly about $1 million from the business just by doing the 3 heists, which isn't too bad, but it definitely would be better if we were able to do this over and over again, like the auto shop contracts or the rest of the heists in the game. But with all that being said, the final thing, the little piece of advice I want to give you guys for these different robberies, if you are going to complete them, is make sure you get snacked up before you do so. It's going to be quite a few firefights that you'll be getting into. There is a snack bowl on the top floor in the office, so that's a great way to get snacks before doing it. But with that being said, those are the ways that you can make money with the new salvage yard business. Let me know what you guys think of it in the comment section down below. The fact that the business costs about $4 to $5 million means we won't earn back our initial investment until about 4 weeks to 5 weeks from now, which is sort of crazy, but overall, I do have to say the robberies are pretty fun. While it would be great to be able to replay them over and over, the actual content itself is fairly good. They're relatively well thought out heists, they have fairly good action, new mechanics that we haven't seen before, breaking into jail cells and whatnot. It is a ton of fun, it's a great thing to do once per week. But of course, from the money-making side of things, it does leave a lot to be desired because it could be a great way to make money to mix in during a Cayo Perico heist cooldown or a Dr. Dre contract cooldown. This would be perfect. It would be similar to the auto shop contracts. But that's all for the video. Like I said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If the video helped you out, and I hope it did, please drop a like. If you're new, subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Peace.